Today we are going to use place value understanding to round whole numbers to the nearest 10 or 100. We will be focusing on rounding. Our objective is to use a number line to round numbers to the nearest 10 and 100. I know you've seen a number line before. Remember, they can start at any number and they can continue to any number as long as they go from the least number on the left to the greatest number on the right. When we round a number, we're finding the 10 or 100 that it is closest to. We round when we don't need the exact number. This will help us with estimating later on. There are a lot of steps involved with rounding, but once you learn the steps, you can quickly and easily round numbers. So the first thing that you're going to do is find the 10 that comes before the number and the 10 that comes after the number. The second thing you're going to do is mark the halfway point between the first 10 and the second 10. The halfway point can be found by adding 5 to the first number. So let's go through these first two steps together. If I have the number 37 and I want to round that number to the nearest 10, I'm first going to find the 10 that comes before 37 and the 10 that comes after. Well, the 10 that comes before is the 10 that I last said, which would be 3 10s, which would be 30. So the 10 that would come after wouldn't be 3 10s, it would be 4 10s, which you got it, is 40. Step 1, check. Step 2, marking the halfway point is adding 5 to the first 10. Remember, between 30 and 40, I have 10. So what would be half of 10? 5. Marking the halfway point is 5 after my first 10. 30 plus 5 is 35. Step 2, check. Step 3 is to determine if the number would go before or after the halfway point. Well, my original number is 37. 7, I know, comes after 5 when I'm counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my number 37 is going to be about here. Just by looking at my number line, I can tell that the number 37 is much closer to my 10 of 40 than my 10 of 30. So I would say that the number 37 rounded to the nearest 10 would be 40. Now let's take a look at rounding to the nearest 100. The same steps are involved when we're rounding to the nearest 100. First, find the 100 that comes before and the 100 that comes after. Next, mark the halfway point. You're going to be adding 50 to the first 100. After that, determine if the number would go before or after the halfway point. Whichever 100 it's closer to, that's what you're going to round to. So this time we need to find a number that has a hundreds digit. Let's go with 158. Step 1, find the 100 that comes before and the 100 that comes after. In my hundreds place, I have a 1. So when I'm counting by 100, 1 is the 100 that I said right before I went to 158. The 100 that would come after it would be 100 more, which would leave me at 200. So I know that my number 158 comes somewhere between 100 and 200. Step 1, check. Step 2, marking the halfway point. This time, instead of adding 5 to the first number, we're going to add 50. Remember, you are jumping from 100 to 200. That is a gain of 100 numbers. So what would be half of 100? Well, that'd be 50. So let's find the halfway point and let's add 50. 100 plus 50 gets me to 150. Step 2, check. Step 3, we have to determine if our number 158 would go before or after our halfway point. 158 would be 8 more than 150. So my number 158 is going to lie somewhere around here. Step 3, check. I can clearly see that the number 158 is closer to my 100 of 200. So I would say 158, when rounded to the nearest 100, would round to 200.